Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared. Today we have a few new knives from a new company that I'm checking out. These guys are out of Ukraine, Krava Cut. Now, I got these in contact with my buddies over at USA Market for the sharpening stones. Definitely go and check those out if you're interested in any resin bonded, hybrid bonded, vitrified, and those types of stones, bonded diamond or CBN stones. I have everything linked down in the description. But this guy, let's talk about this particular one before we get to the next few. This is called the Bone, and it is you could use it as a little neck knife, or however you'd like to carry. It's obviously like a shiv. This is definitely not something I personally would see being used for anything other than that. Could you? Yeah, you could totally take this out and open things and do things with it, open up your bag of chips or whatever. But it feels like a very intentional type of knife. The problem I have is that it is very slim. Now, I know you could wrap this handle for sure. You could absolutely wrap it. I'm not a big fan of wrapped handles. That's me personally. I know a lot of people are, especially for EDC carry, which this is so slim, it would work great, like I said, as a neck knife, on your belt, in your pocket even, just depending on what type of clipping mechanism you have, or, not have if you want to do it for the neck. The blade steel on this is K110. It's 60 HRC with a black coating. K110 is basically D2. It's like another version of D2, which potentially is a great steel. It just depends on the heat treatment, how well it's done, and so on. It's not going to be the best for mass production, which I don't think these are. So like mass production where they're doing thousands of heat treatments at the same time, D2 is just not made for that. But when it's done in small batch, that's when you see is a big difference between the two. And regular D2 that's mass produced, it's still decent. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, as long as you don't spend a lot. But there's a big difference from small batch, mass production, and then custom heat treated D2. Like, vastly different. People fell in love with it. One of the reasons why it was so popular to join the knife community for pocket knives and stuff was because of how awesome it was, in small batch or custom heat treatment. So this is a very thick spike. So that's another thing. This is not going to cut very well, but like I said, it's intended purposes for poking. One problem I have is I know you have the jimping here and you do have the bone back there to tuck your pinky if you wanted to go in, but I think that'd be pretty painful. In the reverse grip is where I see it doing the best work. The sheath is my biggest issue. It's not very clicky. Now this one might be a prototype, I'm not sure, but I did it did swing out one time, so it's hanging on, I guess, okay, but I did pop it out. Yeah, there you go. It will pop out because there's no click. Now, all the other sheaths are amazing. So this is the only one that's like this, and it might be, just mine. But it is really cool, and I gotta say, they sharpen these, obviously, with stone. I can 100% tell that. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is called this one, wait, does this one have a name? I thought this one had a name. I forget the name. So the names are, they have to be translated from Ukrainian, to English, but this, you can see, again, has a mirror polished stone sharpened edge. I doubt they're all going to come like this. This might be just mine, but I will say, if they did come with an edge like this, then that right there is already, in my opinion, like an extra 30 bucks at the minimum, because you're talking about a stone sharpened edge. Belt sharpened edges from mass produced factories take 2 seconds for them to do. These take, a little bit of time. You got to go through all the stones and whatnot. Now this one's more of an EDC. EDC / outdoors. Sheath works great on this one. Nice click. No rattle, no tap, nice push-off point, nice launch. It does have these swedges on the blade for this clip point blade, and this one also is in K110 at 60 HRC. And you can see it right there, the K110. Now, really comfortable in the reverse grip. Sorry for all this white stuff, guys. But really good in the reverse grip, gas station knife fighting grip. I mean, this is literally the perfect fit. No bigger and no smaller for literally my hand. I mean, it is literally a perfect fit. Perfect cap off point. The forward grip is, you know, like obviously still perfect as well. And then I can 3-finger it and tuck my finger behind it if I needed to poke into something in the forward grip, or let it hit my palm because it has that short handle that is gonna be easy to you know, be compact in the hand. I feel like I could generate some decent amount of force with this thing, you know, for regular EDC use. A lot of belly, so, you know, you have something to cut down on a flat surface. The tip is not super high, so you can also use it for utility cuts. Sharpening notch could be a little deeper, but it's a fixed blade, so that doesn't bug me too much. But I will say, since it's coated, if you did have to notch it out, you know, you would take off the coating in order to notch it out. The G10 handles, while I like the black and green, I'm not a big fan of the flowers or whatever these are. Just not my jam. I'm guessing it has something to do with the name. I'm not sure, but really cool knife though. I think it's an attractive knife. The geometry is robust and slicey at the same time, so it should have no problem passing through materials, but also no problem being used in a tough way. This next one, I'm saving the best for last, by the way. The next one is the, where is it? Oh, no name. So this one, they couldn't translate the name to English, so I'm just going to call it the no name. Again, this one's K1, oh no, sorry, this one's N690, N690 steel. I think it's also 60 HRC, and we have somewhat of a trailing point. No, so here's the thing. If you go from the handle to the tip, it would be considered a trailing point. But if you go from the spine of the blade, it's a straight back. So I'm going to call it a straight back for that reason. Straight backs were designed to be similar to a drop point. The difference is the thickness of the spine goes farther out to the tip, so it leaves for a more durable tip, whether it's for poking, stabbing into things, or just harder use with a belly. So they were intended, a long time ago at the very least, to be like a harder use blade. This one, being the style that it is, I'm gonna say what I would use this for. You can consider it good for whatever, you know, you want. I would think of this as somewhat of like a self-defense knife, but you could totally EDC this as well. So this would be like an EDC self-defense. Gas station knife fighting grip is like perfect with this thing. You know, the tip, because it's a straight back, the tip's going to go right into things. Forward grip, same thing. And then pinch grips, you can cut down on a flat surface. Now, because it does trail up a little bit, that might feel a little awkward for cutting down on a flat surface, but I mean, it's fine. You can just, you know, it's not going to hurt anything. Like, you're not going to have any problems. It's just, you know, when you get it in hand, you know, if you're used to something dropping down that way, it might feel a little different, but not a big deal. Slashing, you know, having the nice straight edge right there going to a belly, it should slash pretty good. Beautiful mirror polish, stone sharpened edge once again, very nippy. And you know what? K110 does not do great with a polished edge. So I would say if you want the best edge on K110 D2, go with a medium grit. The large carbides in the steel, they tend to get glassy if you take it to a mirror polished edge and start using it. So what will happen is, while it'll be very sharp, after you start using it a bunch, it'll get very slick. It'll get glassy. So this one's still very, very sharp. Still has plenty of bite. The heat treatment's probably pretty good on it. Stonewash finish is also nice. Nice little touch. You got the jimping right there that does work. A little spread out. I like tighter jimping, but this is still good stuff. The G10, I like that it's got this rock pattern. It definitely fills out the hand for a slim knife, which is nice. But it is somewhat of, like, in my opinion, like, you could use it for multiple things, like a skinning knife, something for hunting, something for you know, fish and things like that, skinning fish, filleting fish. You could use, it's not super thin, it is more of a robust, but you could totally use it. And then for, you know, breaking down game and stuff, you might want a little bit of toughness for hitting bone and stuff. But yeah, pretty cool. You can definitely scout carry this right behind your back and get it out and go to work, you know, use it for whatever you want. Now, my favorite one of the bunch is the Stor. Now, this one was originally designed for military use, and I believe it's named after one of their drones or something like that, like an intelligence drone or something. But beautiful, beautiful straight back blade. This is a legit straight back from heel, or sorry, from handle to tip, perfectly straight. I mean, there's a little bit of rock, but not much. So love that. That's you know, it. We'll talk more about it in a second. So we have the K110 60 HRC steel, beautiful swedge. I like how they do these swedges, you know, and that little grind down the tip will help that tip be more acute, and then they can determine how deep they want to do it, determining how fragile or sharp they want the tip. This does have a nice thin edge while still being very robust, so it's going to be a tough knife while also being able to inflict damage. Handle, again, perfect size. Perfect size. It's like they measured my hand. This little spot right here tucks right into that little crevice right there that I always talk about. So if I wanted to jam it into something, it's not going anywhere. Same thing with the gas station knife fighting grip, reverse grip. You can cap off really nice. This texturing makes it where it's not slipping out of your hand. Feels really good in the hand. I got pinch grips all day. Utility cuts are amazing, even though it's a straight back. And you know, it's because it's more of a narrow straight back, but you do have this belly, so you can cut down on a flat surface. Slashing, you know, you're going to have the belly all the way to the tip, and it's not like you don't have a huge drop off, so it shouldn't slip out of cuts too bad. So when you have this, you know, and a lot of times with a certain drop points, big belly knives, basically, they will slip out of a cut like that. You'll be going and they'll just slip out of a cut. Because this has this straight back with the handle, you can go from the front right here and go like this, which will keep you into the cut. And you can start a cut like this, start going, and then as you're cutting, you can curl your wrist forward and continue that cut. So it's like this, which helps you so you're not slipping out of the cut, which is actually pretty easy to do. And once you get kind of used to it, I mean, it's just a natural thing for knife users, but, you know, for people that are not daily using a knife, you know, those little details will matter. Sharpening tool is better on this one. I do, you know, I like that it's deeper. I do not know how well this coating is going to do over abuse and time and everything. Doesn't really matter though. It's a fixed blade. To me, these knives are meant to be, you know, beat up, tossed around and whatnot. I do like this grippy G10. Look at how deep those, yeah, look at that. That's deep, like very deep, grippy handles. The jimping, you know, it's okay, it works. And then you got this one jimp right there. I don't know whether to call it a poon or what. I guess it would, you know, help you from slipping up the blade or back if you're cutting a rope or something like that. This does kind of, well, either way, like I'm not worried about poking into things, even if this thing's not in my palm, because this thing is so grippy and, you know, it just has that resistance that you feel comfortable with poking into things. I personally wouldn't really use it for an outdoors knife, but a basic EDC knife / self-defense knife, you know, like they said, you know, like they made it for military use. I could totally see that being on the side of your vest or your belt or whatever. It is definitely something that you could quickly access, and because of the straight back, it's going to be very good at poking. Like, you know exactly where the tip's at, right? Like when you're plunging your arm forward, that tip is going in. Like, it's not a trailing point where you got to make sure you curl up. It's, you know, it's literally straight line from your thumb, basically. So you basically just point your thumb at whatever you're going after and you're going to get it. So, and a very pokey tip, yet that does have some thickness to it. So this is a tip where, yeah, you can get some precision work done, but it's not going to be fragile. This is going to be a tip that you could, you know, you could hit some things with it and not worry about it breaking. Now, D2 K110 is not a tough steel, but with this geometry, it is. Because that's the way it works. You know, I would rather them do a high HRC so I can get the most out of my edge retention, sharpness, sharpenability, and so on. While if I want toughness, just give me the thicker geometry. That's how I personally like it. Because that way I'm not sacrificing the quality of my steel for toughness, right? Like, or strength. Just, you know, make it slightly thicker, you know, wherever it needs to be, and then harden that HRC nice and hard so my edge lasts the longest. It's easier to sharpen. The burr comes off cleaner. When I strop, it actually strops back, and so on and so on. So, and judging by this edge, the way it came out, I'm going to guess that they did a damn good job on the heat treatment. You know, I can't speak to, you know, all the other production. These are only the first few, only a few that I've had. So, you know, I guess we will see as time goes on. You know, I'll, you know, carry it a few times and test it out, you know, and if it's something really special, you know, I'll bring it back and show you guys. But so far, this is an awesome knife. This is actually really cool. And like I said, this is my favorite one out of the bunch. They're all pretty cool. The bone wouldn't be for me just because it's so skinny. I'd be afraid that, you know, it would hurt me, you know, trying to use it, unless if I wrap the handle. This guy, you know, this little cant right here, it's kind of cool, but for me personally, it's just a little awkward, but I could see it being a good fillet or skinning knife. This guy, great little EDC. This is a little bit more up my alley, and then this one's my favorite. So there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.